corruption has become a hyena. Hyena is a terrible animal. When hyena kills his game, he will eat everything, including the bone, and lick the blood, and will leave nothing for any other animal. That is how far corruption has demonized this country. A lot of African countries and those in Caribbean and Latin America are looking towards Nigeria to provide leadership. We can only do that when we deliver Nigeria from the clutches of this demon called corruption. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that contribution. Dr. Phillips O Salawu.
Honorable Chairman, distinguished delegates, I am Dr. Phillips O Salawu FCA, FCS, a chartered accountant, a chartered stockbroker. I'm the immediate past Deputy Governor of Kogi State. I'm a delegate representing North Central Geopolitical Zone. I quote from page 7 of Mr. President's speech. To be successful, nation builders must continually strive to evolve better and more inclusive societies in which every citizen is a proud and committed stakeholder. So also on page 9, he said, we cannot continue to fold our arms and assume that things will straighten themselves out in due course, instead of taking practical steps to overcome impediments to our path, on our path to true nationhood, rapid development, and national prosperity. Accordingly, the issue of executive power rotation is very paramount in bringing everybody on board. This matter was one of the main recommendations at the last 2005 National Conference. Specifically, presidential power should be alternated between north and the southern parts of the country, while simultaneously rotating among the geopolitical zones. Dual vice presidency is also being advocated to take care of any political accidents which we have witnessed in recent past. The first vice president should come from the same zone with the president, while the second VP comes from the other part of the country. The presidency to have a single term of 6 years with single ticket for the Trinity. At the state level, governorship should be rotated among the senatorial districts with dual deputy governors to take care of the accident witnessed in recent times in Kaduna State, Yobe, and now in Taraba. The governor to have a single term of 6 years. The first deputy governor to come from the same zone, the same senatorial district with the governor, while the second deputy governor comes from the other senatorial district with single ticket for the Trinity. The same principle of rotation should be adopted at the local government level. The presidential system is still the better option for poorer heterogeneous polity. However, part-time unicameral legislature is advocated to reduce cost of governance. For the executive arms of government, the number of ministers, commissioners, special advisors, supervisors, and other aides should be pegged to reduce the cost of governance. Deputy governors should be given some specific constitutional rules. For industrialization to be a reality, the Ajakuta Stick development and the Interpre Iron Ore project should be completed without further delays. There should be an establishment of solid mineral producing area development commission, SOMPADEC, to take care of the negative consequences of the solid mineral extractions. The current 13% derivation should equally be applicable to solid mineral extraction. More commitment should be given to the exploration of oil and gas in the hinterland, including the Benue Basin. The River Niger to be properly dredged to ensure smooth inland waterways transportation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much for that contribution. Comrade A. Salam Baradin Paiko. Comrade A. Salam. Is that him standing? Okay. Barrister Musa Saliu.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished delegates, I am Barrister Musa Saliu and I represent FCT. Mr. Chairman, I am inspired by a portion of Mr. President's speech, which you will find on page 13, paragraph 2. And I read, I have heard our people say that we need to openly and frankly discuss our problems and seek acceptable solutions instead of allowing them to fester and remain sources of perennial conflict. Mr. Chairman, this portion is very apt in relation to the happenings in FCT. Mr. Chairman, the FCT was acquired in 1976, and the law that was used essentially to acquire it was Section 31 of the 1963 Republican Constitution, which allowed for a law to be made which shall, one, make adequate compensation. That was the 1963 Constitution. And B, allow the claimants of the compensation to have access to a court of law tribunal and so on and so forth that had jurisdiction in that area. Mr. Chairman, this provision has been replicated in the 1979 and the present Constitution as amended. Mr. Chairman, the law that was enacted was the 1976 Act. That law itself is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution. On compensation, that law says that the compensation that shall be paid, notwithstanding anything in the Constitution or any enactment or law or rule in Nigeria, shall be paid in accordance with the provisions of that Constitution, which is inconsistent. Number two, that same Constitution law, FCT Act, in Section 1, subsection 3, made provision for the takeover of the land while simultaneously paying for compensation. Now, compensation has not been paid till date, but the land has been taken over, and that part of that provision has been put in the 1979 and 1999 Constitution, forming Section 297, subsection 2. That is what government uses to demolish people's houses and farmlands. We say this should be expunged because it is inconsistent with the provision of the Constitution.